the role of the business leaders and the functional, not on the sort of the data side or the technical side, but the business side, the head of a particular business unit. What kind of behaviors should they be exhibiting? Because it's both, it's business, it's IT, it's the data governance side, all coming together. But what kind of leadership characteristics and values and behaviors you think should be exhibited by business leaders in understanding that this is such a big transformation in the way the business is running today?
Yeah, in terms of behaviors, I think it's important to, recognize that this is a team sport, and how do we keep our people engaged? How do we keep our folks engaged? So I'm thinking more of, you're asking of leadership. I think that the server type of leadership is the one that lends itself well into these types of programs as well. So how do we foster an environment of working together, being transparent, building on that trust and credibility, leading by example, fostering that kind of an environment and culture, and just keeping people engaged, listening as well, right? This is not a program where, you can go in there and say, oh, thou shalt do X, Y, Z, right? And it's actually funny because a big aspect of this is data governance. You have the word governance there. And it's not about, telling people what to do. It's about how do you keep people engaged, So the type of leader that can do that listens, that works with folks, that keeps them engaged, keeps them inspired, and shows the results along the way, right? Shows the results. But this is how I think we're really getting to results and past the quick wins, right? By fostering that environment of, trust and credibility, and bringing the right people in the right roles, we'll be able to really hit past the quick wins initially to sustain with this program, and then seeing the sustained results.
No, that's a fair point in terms of the listening skills and making that happen. So if we tie this together in terms of, the strong need to have resiliency in your data supply chain, as I would call it, building a data supply chain within your organization. But then requiring collaboration, as you rightly pointed out, between business and your data governance side. But then having the cultural values, thinking through the cultural values as a sprinkling on that to enable that facilitation to occur, I think is the right recipe as you go into this. But then we got thrown apart, everything went disarray, pandemic happened,
Yes.
There's a COVID situation to deal with. And so how do you see leadership and also the challenges from the pandemic? What kind of digital skill, what happened? What happened in, your experience, and what change or new learnings have occurred from this?
Yeah, no one expected this, right? Or no one expected this to last year and a half, pretty much. I mean, things are just now opening up to have more in-person events or to even go into the office. So I think what we've all learned is, kind of had to learn to adjust, right? Working remotely. But then now, as we're trying to go back to, I think it's yet another adjustment of what this means. As a guiding principle for me is really being very purposeful for it. Just because we were working in the offices before, we went away working from home, and now we're getting back, it's not just going to happen. I think just having gone through the change, having changed the habits. So how do we find a new normal, if you will, right? And being purposeful about it. I think talking about it, listening again, understanding, and really just evolving as we go, right? Whatever we try, right? If that doesn't work, how do we pivot? So I think communicating about it, maybe listening and learning from it, and bringing people together, helping people adjust, and wrapping an effort around it, a very intentional effort. I think this is what will help us get to that new normal where things again are working well, for the business.